I never thought I'd ride a motorcycle. I always figured they were dangerous and that only tough guys with long beards and lots of muscles rode them. And I'm just this dorky looking guy with glasses.
So how the hell did this happen? Let me tell you. I am from the Ruhr area in Germany, which is basically the industrial heartland. When the Allies got here in 1945, the war was basically over, mainly because all the steel plants were here, all the manufacturing plants, the coal mines, all that stuff. Obviously the war continued for a little while until the head idiot shot himself, but basically this was it. And after the war, things continued to grow. The steel plants expanded, the mines got bigger, lots of people came here to find work. My grandparents came here to find work. And I still live in a house that was built for the workers in our local steel plant. And people called that time the economic miracle, which is definitely what it was. That's the River Ruhr over there. Hi there. The mountain I'm going up right now is not actually a real mountain. It's a halde, which is a collection of all the rock and dirt that was dug up by the miners looking for coal. And they put it in a big pile, and nowadays it's a park. And this being Germany, you cannot actually go up here without applying for a permit, of course. People look down on this area because of its workers' connotation, but it's still, I love it. It's home. It's so pretty. Even with the smokestacks and stuff. But to be honest, I've been here all my life and I've been all over. I've seen a lot of things here. And I really want to see more of the world. I just crossed the 500 kilometer mark. I'm done with the break-in phase. Just before I was born, something really bad happened. And that is basically that the coal ran out. And the steel plants were looking for cheaper labor elsewhere. Now this could have been really bad, and it was. There was lots of unemployment, but the people here are resilient. You have to be if you want to work in a coal mine. And they managed to turn things around. Lots of new companies started to appear, smaller ones, medium-sized ones, startups. And they turned it around. Nowadays, that's most of what the Ruhr area is. It's these small to medium-sized companies that make some part for some other industry. And it was a huge success. That phase was called structural change, or Strukturwandel in German. And other regions, I think, really envious for it, because we managed to turn this horrible thing into a good thing. Took time, but we still managed. One of the best things, at least in my mind, is that we kept around a lot of the old plants. This used to be a coal mine, and now it's a museum, and I love it. It's part of our heritage. Why would we get rid of that? I mean, the rust is sort of debatable, and all this stuff filled with asbestos, I'm fine with that going. But you don't have to get rid of everything. Some stuff reminds you of where you're from. But there was one part of our heritage that we lost during those days, and that is our local dialect. My parents' generation started to teach their children High German, which is a version of German that doesn't have an accent. And the Ruhr dialect gradually died out, which is, to me, really sad. It is part of what made us different, and now it's gone. There used to be a famous example of Ruhr German, which is basically somebody saying, "Wo gehst du?" And the reply would be, "Pommes." And I'll tell you what that means.
Ambrose, dear friend, where, pray tell, are you venturing at this most unseemly hour? Witherington, I'm embarking upon a most pressing errand. Pressing, you say? A matter of diplomacy? A clandestine rendezvous? Nay. Golden slivers of the noble potato, rendered unto perfection by the artistry of the French.
That is what fries look like in the Ruhr area. We like to eat them with Currywurst, curry sausage. And don't let anybody else tell you different. The best curry sausage comes from the Ruhr area. Like, other regions have it too, for example in Berlin, but theirs is just sausage with a little bit of ketchup and curry powder. Like, they don't even cut the sausage, it's crazy.
What I really love about this area is you have the cool stuff in the cities, of course, but you can get on your bike or get in your car and be in nature in 15 minutes, and I love it. If you get in a car in Berlin and you drive for 20 minutes, you're still in Berlin. But here, you're out in nature as soon as you want. I love it. Whew. And that's the moment where I drop my bike. Panic setting in. I don't need to be panicked. Woohoo! That was by far the hardest corner I've ever taken on a bike. 568 kilometers in. But anyways, when I got out of school, I started to work in marketing for some of those new companies that replaced the steel ones, and had a good time. But at some point I got really, really sick, and I was struggling. I was really struggling. And at that point I finally lost sort of that fear that had held me back from getting a motorcycle. So I went for it. And I'm so glad I did. And actually I started getting better. I cannot believe all this is out here. I'm 100% certain that I've never been here in a car. Never, ever. And almost slip on gravel. Ouch. I'm currently sitting on my tripod because I couldn't move it any other way, because I don't have my luggage yet. And every little bump in the street is a pain in the ass. Literally. At first the idea was to buy a Honda Rebel to just cruise on these cool roads we have. But luckily I figured out, well, it's not that great for travel, and it's definitely not great for going off-road. And I just don't know what I want to do on a motorcycle. I might love off-roading, I might hate it. I might like going on like long trips. The CRF does everything well enough that I can try those things. This is actually the first bit of quote-unquote off-roading I've ever done on this bike. And it's not that spectacular, but it feels kind of cool. Here we are.
And that's the plan for this year. Figure out what I actually like doing on a motorcycle, and then do much more of that in the years to come. My first project will take me up north, where I'm going to visit a loved one I haven't seen in far too long. And I'd love to have you along for the ride.
By the way, if you thought I was kidding about the tripod, I really, really wasn't.